Thank you, Jeff Nero, Fountain Street, for David Condry. I'm hearing ads on the radio saying that Boston people have talked to the water company, said there's no problem with the water. You know, we have plenty of water. But yet, I know we've had people from our group come and visit you, and there is a problem. We've been in restrictions for as many years as I know, year after year after year, and you have a new plant. So I know we have a capacity problem, and if there are new sources, why haven't we done it in past years?
First, I want to apologize. I didn't realize I was part of the group here. I thought this empty spot was for Mr. Buckley, so I apologize for that. The position of the water company, the casino I came on board in 2009. I remember back early in 2009 that the casino did approach my office about supplying water. And the position of the water company hasn't changed since 2009 as far as our ability to supply water to the casino. If they needed water today, tomorrow, last week, next week, we would have a difficult time to be able to supply them with the water and still maintain our current management and permitting volumes and the capacities that we currently have. We would have a difficult time to be able to supply them and our current residents and developments that we have on the books, especially during our peak demands during the summers, etc. So again, the water company has not changed that position, and the studies done by Time Bond, etc. They show those numbers. Those numbers are correct numbers that they show currently what we're able to produce and what we used to be able to produce when the wells and everything went online. Our Management Act permit, yes, there is room available for the casino to fit in within our volumes as granted by the permit. So there is room for it to be there. But my current capacities and my restrictions on how much I can pull out of the Charles River and Echo Lake will make it very, very difficult. So again, we haven't changed that position. Within that host agreement, and we made this clear as well, that in order for us to be able to support the casino and not impact any of our current projects or anything, any of the volumes that we are currently supplying to both commercial and residential customers now, without having the original capacities of some of the other wells brought back, we can't supply that with enough water comfortably. And again, that's why in that host agreement, in order for them to start construction, in order for them to move forward, they have to create 135% of their average day demand. Their average day demand, I believe, was 230,000 gallons a day. It comes out to, I think, about 320,000 gallons, I believe it would be if you add 135%. So in order for them to do so, they need to recover that amount of water from one of my wells. I know they've been focusing on Godfrey Brook well field, which has about 0.49 or 490,000 gallons worth of water that we can bring back. I have 290,000 available in Godfrey Brook. I have about 400,000 available if we redevelop Diller Street wells, etc. So there is room for growth if we can get those wells developed. The key word is if, because we do not know. You don't know until you start to redevelop these sources whether or not you bring them back to their original capacities. There are new technologies available now which are kind of helping us out, and we're looking at doing so out in Fox Island. So even before the casino came to town, we were looking at these types of improvements to help alleviate the new regulations and the restrictions that we're starting to see with the Management Act permit. Again, but the company's position has always been that the residents' health, welfare, fire protection will always come first. And we have not changed that position. Nothing's changed. Again, there is a big if out there that if they can redevelop a well, and again, they've been focusing on Godfrey Brook at this point, and bring back some of that original capacity that it would be able to fit within our permitting and within the current demands that we have within the community, including developments that we currently have on the books. There's a couple out there for Dominic Alfonso, etc.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Steve,
Yeah, I'd like to speak to that as a civil engineer, in particular a geotechnical engineer, which is the study of and creation of structures and things having to do with the underground, including water. And first of all, let me say that David, we're very fortunate to have David as a manager and operating officer of the Milford Water Company. He's doing a great job. And I'm not saying this to disagree with David, I just want to make you aware of something. First of all, there's large demands coming up from new users. You know, let me just give you a list here. Beaver Commons, Walden Woods, Field Pond Estates, the Milford Hospital expansion, the new assisted living facility, Stone Ridge Office Park. These are all in the news, new developments happening here in town. So, when we look at the possibility of supplying Foxwoods with the water demands that they have, and we look at all these other projects, which will almost certainly be built before Foxwoods, if we voted in, would come online, there's a huge demand here, David, that is coming from sources other than Foxwoods before Foxwoods even comes online. The second thing is, I agree with David, the idea of the plan on going ahead and producing enough water for Foxwoods' demand, as they have set it out, is to provide additional pumping capacity. Now, if all of you that live here in Milford know that Milford is primarily bedrock, but we have a few aquifers. One is in Bradford Brook, and the other is below the Charles River. That's it. We have a very finite aquifer system in Milford. The rest of the town is all rock, and we're not going to get any water capacity out of that. So, if you have if this is our aquifer, this cup, and you have one straw in it now, and we're pulling out of it, and we have water restrictions happening, right now we have all these additional demands. If you use a solution that puts a second straw in that aquifer, and it starts pulling on that, I seriously doubt that we're not going to have a long-range problem here of not having enough capacity in our aquifer without pulling it down and creating a serious problem here. So that I'm sure David is going to be looking at in the big picture in the long range. But I have serious demands, serious concerns about whether or not we have the actual reserves here in Milford to supply this.
Thank you, Steve.